Hello there again. The elements are against us, but we like a challenge. My laptop's shit the bed, so we couldn't complete yesterday's attempt at a podcast. So we're here in Holmfirth, a picture drome, where we're playing tonight. And this is a beautiful building, gorgeous old building. And we're going to do the second half of the podcast in here. And hopefully this is going to work. But it doesn't matter because we exist for challenges. Challenge makes the man. And that's what the theme of this fucking podcast is today. Is we're going to get through this by hook or by goddamned crook. So I'm going to get the questions read out to me by producer Phil, who is sitting at the opposite side of this laptop.
Right. Question number 1. Apologies if this has already been covered, but if you could pick any producer to produce a future album, who would you pick?
Jim Pinder.
There you go, Andrew Holmes. That was an answer for you.
Andrew, I would choose Jim Pinder. I fucking love working with Jim Pinder. He's just my kind of guy. He's fantastic at what he does. He's chilled as fuck. He really understands the band. He understands what we're trying to do. I can't imagine ever wanting to work with anyone else. There are producers out there that I'd be curious to work with. I mean, I'd like to see what would happen if I worked with Mutt Lang, or if I could actually work with Mutt Lang and record one word at a time, one string on the guitar at a time. Bob Rock would be a great one. I wonder what it'd be like working with Bob Rock. Would he be as cool and chilled as you imagine, or would he not? I used to want to work with Rick Rubin, but the more I hear about his work methods, that he doesn't actually turn up and sits on a couch somewhere and Zoom calls his opinions in. Don't think that would work for me. But yeah, I don't know. As far as producers are concerned, I think we found our guy. And I think Jim Pinder is our fella. And he just recording this last album really has made me realise what a producer brings to a band. And Jim is officially the 6th member of this group. He worked just as hard, he created just as much, and his heart and soul went into this record. So yeah, all the way, Jim Pinder.
Question now from Darth Elvis.
Come on.
As a huge horror fan and a great writer, have you ever considered writing your own horror script with a Wildheart soundtrack?
I did. I wrote one. I wrote a movie and no one cared. And it was a long time ago. So obviously I was in the wrong. Fucking look at my hair. I cut my hair this morning in a peak of frustration, and I've managed to give myself the weirdest haircut I think I've ever had. I'm not sure I like it or not. Let me know what you think. Should I grow it all long again, or should I just get it all fucking cut short? What was the question again? Arth, what was your question?
As a huge horror fan and a great writer.
Yes, I did write, and I might as well tell you now, because it doesn't matter. I wrote a movie called Omnihead when we did Earth vs. the Wildheart, and it was about a record company executive and Dolly Parton had a kid, and it was so hideous that they kept it locked in the basement of this record company building. And this thing grew up listening to music and ended up being a really good musician. So he became a singer in this band, and he used to eat groupies. And I'm trying to think where the story went, but that was the thing. He had this huge head that looked a bit like the Motorhead War Pig. And but I do remember the end. He falls in love with this one groupie who is mutated. She was as hideous as he was, and they had a baby. And at the end of the movie, he went to the pram, and the baby's arm came up out of the pram and went, hello, London. And that was the end of the movie. And then there was an advert for the next movie, which was going to be called Omnihead Son, about the baby. Yes, that's the sort of thing I used to think about when I was a young'un. But yeah, I would like to make a movie. The thing is, with the AI now, you can make a movie. We just met this guy the other day, wonderful AI expert called Rez, who I'm going to start doing videos with. And we just figured, if I can get a few quid, I could make a movie of anything that I want. But for the most part, I think I'll stay away from movies and just continue being a fan.
Right, next one from Brawny.
Brawny. Hi, Brawny.
I'm sure you'll get asked this a lot.
a lot.
But when can we expect the new album? I'm an impatient bastard.
The new album will be available in March. I think that's the plan that the record company have, to release it exactly a year after the last one. And I'd like to think that there's not going to be any singles off it, because I don't like that. You know, I don't like when they pull singles off and everyone goes, oh, well, it's going to sound like that. And as anyone knows, the Wildhearts would, you know, one song can sound like that, another song can sound like that. I think it's best if you hear the album in its entirety and then pull singles off. That's the way they used to do it back in my day. I would like there to be lots of singles off this, because there's loads of great songs. But as an album, I want people to hear it complete. You know, it's got a very definite beginning and a very definite ending, and tons of great stuff. But it's got a really nice shape. It goes through a lot of different phases, a lot of different colours and palettes. It really is an interesting one. So I hope that when it comes out, you'll get to hear it. In fact, tell you what I would like to do. I would like to do what we used to do with The Pledge, have an old school listening party. Everyone gets online the day it comes out, and we all get our opinions on there the first time anyone hears it. And I promise I won't listen to it until that day. I've already heard it. But that would be fun, and get people's opinions. And I think that would really drive a lot of excitement as well, because it's a fucking great record. It really is an exciting album. But I would like to be back in that excitement via you. So yeah, expect that.
Next question is from Corolla.
Corolla, nice name.
Hi, Ginger.
Hi, Corolla.
I was driving from Norway last weekend just to see you play at the festival in Sweden, and it was so worth it. It was my second time seeing you live. I'm a newbie, and so excited to hear that you have plans for gigs in December and Northern Festival next year. I will be there. I was wondering, what kind of troubles did the band have in Sweden? You mentioned something about it on stage and now in this pod.
Troubles in Sweden. Oh my God. Fucking hell. Right. It would be impossible to list them all. There was fucking tons of them. I went there, you know, there was a lot of stuff going on at the time, and some people that we were working with that we were not going to work with anymore. And, you know, things were a little bit touchy. And I figured I'm just going to go there with a complete positive attitude and just get through anything. And the shit started the first officious motherfucker that I met in the airport. I had people, you know, I had a guy tell me, I mean, it would sound like moaning if I just went through everything, but I met every single cunt in the world. There's one guy, I was walking from the airport to an aeroplane. It was fucking miles, and I had a puff of me fucking vape, and this guy ran over and threatened to have me arrested. And I was like, mate, I can just put it away. You don't have to be like this. Got on the plane, and the pilot says, I saw that. I won't be as kind as him if you do that again. And at which point, I mean, I'm the sort of person that likes to match energies. And if someone wants to flex, I don't mind a scrap, you know what I mean? But I was like, keep it cool, be nice. And so I said to this guy, okay, you're not going to be as nice as that guy. What are you going to do? You know, I'll call the police. Well, okay, that's a nice welcome to the aeroplane. And then we got to the festival. I was in the festival, and I was having a vape in the middle of a fucking field, and the police came over and told me I couldn't vape in the middle of a fucking field. Now, I know this is probably stuff that happens to everyone. There was about, must have been 10 or 20 of these little fucking midget-sized bullshit attacks that just, by the end of it, and this was like, we finished the festival, and then I had enough time to drive right to the studio and start the album. And it was just like, if we can get through this, we can get through anything. And the album went great. We finished the album. The bullshit started again. And if we can get through this, we can get through anything. The theme of the podcast, challenges. Challenges maketh the man. Challenges are a fucking gift. So when you get something you got to deal with, you fucking put your big boy boots on and you go, come on. Fucking chest's big enough to take what you got. And yeah, I eat challenges like other people eat fucking chocolate.
Question here from Dave Sturdy.
Hi, Dave.
I've often wondered why bands don't put out more stuff from the studio, fly on the wall kind of thing. And I'm fascinated by seeing how a song develops from an idea into the finished song and how it develops. Is this feasible, or does the process of writing a song not allow it? To see you working on a song you're confident will end up on an album from the concept right at the beginning to the end is what I mean. Love to you all on the team, Ginger.
Well, Dave, I'd like to do that, but the way that I wanted to do this on the last album, actually, there was a couple of things I wanted to show the birth and the progress of a song. But life gets in the way. There's so many things get in the way, and before you know it, you finished the song and you didn't even know. So it went from gestation to actual, being there. Then a song doesn't stop living because you've stopped the recording process, but then you've got to go and promote it and people hear it for the first time, by which point you're on a new batch of songs. It's something I'd like to do, but it's massively impractical just because of the timeline of being there, starting that, then a ton of fucking shit happens and you got to... But I tell you what I would do. I would like someone to follow me and do that. But I live in the middle of nowhere. They're going to have to come out to me and film me plonking on a guitar. That's all I've got. And then come back. I think the idea is probably just not very practical. But it is a nice one. I like the idea of sending stuff from studios. The problem I find, well, I definitely found on this one, I wanted to put loads of riffs out. We're not allowed to because we're doing it with a record company. So they're in charge of the music. We're not allowed to play you the music as it's being recorded. So yes, lots of little bits of red tape, tiny little bits of red tape wrapped around a big turd.
This is a very relevant question next from J.R. Enke to the last question. I think I previously asked this or talked about it. Can the acoustic demos and maybe rough mixes be made available as part of the release of the new record? I, for one, would love to hear the transition from seed to tree.
I hope so. We did do the acoustic demos were just for us to learn the songs, but maybe there's something in there. But we did do demos that really did change by the time we did the album. The album's very, very colourful, lots of different bits of information going on, tons of different stuff going on. And the demos are just us plugging in and playing through. So there's a charm to them, a very raw charm. But again, not my stuff. I don't own it. The record label owns it. But I reckon they probably do like to release stuff like this. I know Dante, who we work with, is a big fan of letting people hear everything. So I'm sure there'll be a deluxe version of the album with demos or something like that coming out. Put me money on that, I reckon.
Right, Steve Barlow asks, if Ginger Wildheart the movie ever became a thing, who would you like to play the various roles and who would you get to direct it? And the second part of this question, the ratings of the Wildhearts and solo albums has been so interesting. If you were ever to release a compilation album just showcasing your solo efforts, would you be able to narrow it down?
What does the solo albums? Yeah, I'll be able to narrow it down to my favourite songs. I mean, there's certain songs that mean a lot to me that would just, find their way on any best of, is that what you would call it, compilation? Yeah, I could do that, no problem. I'd love to do that, actually, with the solo stuff. But then, does that mean I get to put, like, Mutation and Ghost in the Tanglewood on the same album?
Yeah.
I'm down. Find me a record company that wants to release it. I ain't going to do it. I ain't releasing no more records by myself. That period of my life is over. But if anyone wants to do that and release a compilation of my solo stuff, I'd be up for that. I own it all. So anyone out there who knows anyone with a record label who would like to do that, that would be fun. Put Mutation next to some, sweet little song about Maggie. That tickles my funny bone. Who would play me in a movie? Idris Elba, I think, would be good. And who would direct it? Walt Disney's dead. Don't know. I'd probably have it directed by AI. I'd probably just put a ton of fucking ketamine inside a fucking computer and just say, there you go, try your best. And it still wouldn't be as weird as my life has fucking been. But yeah, I don't know if the movies about people, biopics they're called, aren't they? I haven't seen a very good one. I quite like the Pistols one. That was quite good. But they're awful, aren't they? Biopics. They're dreadful. Never going to happen. I think I can safely say. There is a documentary being made, apparently, which is a kind of movie. But I don't know. But if Idris Elba's in, I'm in.
Andrew Smith asks, hi Ginger. I've just finished reading A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. It was recommended to me by my yoga teacher the week before you mentioned him on your podcast. Do you think more and more people are coming to the same conclusion, albeit from different rationales, about the human condition, what it is, and how we can begin to evolve towards a better version of our conscious mind?
Do I think more people are getting into that? I hope so. I hope more people are getting into that. I think there's a consciousness, there's a huge spiritual shift going on. And in the next couple of years, we're going to see it in effect. We're going to see how it affects the world. There's going to be a lot of changes. I imagine disclosure, alien disclosure is going to be part of that, but it's only a very small part of it. But the thing is with consciousness, once you cotton onto the fact that there's more than this, you realize how small this is. And the world of non-corporeal consciousness is so vast that it's the most exciting thing in the whole world. And I hope more people are getting into that. But I think this shift is going to push people towards a kind of spiritual path. I'm sure there's a lot of people actually feeling that right now. Just like, I feel like I want to, get into finding out about myself and how to stop being so anxious about the future and so depressed about the past. And I think that's part of this movement. I can only hope that there's going to be a lot of people involved in this, because I don't know if what you do on this earth really matters that much, to be honest, but the frequencies that you make are the thing. So I think basically, if you're a good cunt, you're probably giving off really good, strong cunt frequencies that have got some kind of important thing for consciousness. But obviously, I think cuntishness meets cuntishness doesn't really, it creates more cuntishness. That's not very healthy. It's a load of energy, and I'm sure it's doing some use. But love plus love, making more love, is how nature works. And so that, I believe, is the reason why people should get into consciousness. I think just having hang-ups, dragging things around your whole life, problems with people or issues with yourself or whatever. I think it just gets tiring. It just gets exhausting. I think everyone knows that there's something better than that for them, that feeling of unfulfillment. And I think everyone has that feeling of unfulfillment, but some people don't look at it. They either mask it with work, or they numb it with alcohol, or they just deny that there is a better world out there for them. But I've got a strong feeling that more and more people are going to start realizing there's something else going on. And the best thing about it is once you realize there's something else going on, it changes everything. It changes everything. It changes everything that used to bug you about being here. And you realize that being here, the actual physical part of being here is pretty meaningless, but the effects that you make are really important. Consciousness is experiencing itself through you and through bees and through spiders and all the rest of it. Consciousness is experiencing what it's like. So yeah, I don't think you can go wrong. But as far as living a better life, that's got a positive energy that transcends. It goes, oh, boom. It's so vast that I think more people are going to start turning people on to doing this. And that's the thing, pass on the message. There's more than this. Explore.
Right, Ad Braley, more of a statement than a question. Thank you for the answer to my question about singing and your voice, Ginger. I love the answer. Really good episode, that one. Your positivity fucking flew out of the screen. Never mind radiated. Love it.
That's a nice thing to hear. But positivity does that. And I'm not talking about being positive all the time. Because that's impossible. There are too many factors in life that are going to piss you off to be genuinely positive. But pretend to be positive, and it has the same effect, the same fucking effect, and it affects everything. But it doesn't just affect everything within your radius. It affects everything. It's fucking magic, positivity, and it's the only way to be. There is no real need for negativity in the world. So if you're against negativity, like you probably say you are, then get rid of it, cut it off. It has no place. It connects to nothing but more negativity. There's no gold in them there hills. Positive all the way, and even when you don't feel like it, and you're still being positive, you see the effect. You see the effect that it has around you. It's magic. It really is. It actually is magic, but it's a big thing, and I'm really finding that I've wasted a lot of years doing a lot of stupid things with no comeback, with nothing. I didn't learn anything. I didn't get any spiritual guidance from sitting in a corner with a crack pipe. But pretending to be positive and just trying your best to get through the fucking bullshit, that has a massive effect. And that's my new drug. It's great, it's free, and it's got no hangover. It comes back times 10. So the more you do, the more you make. Perfect drug. It doesn't run out. You just make more of it. I love it. But that's my goal. I want to start exploring consciousness with a view to making energies that have a positive effect on other energies, and that shit travels.